Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another 2028 election prediction. This time we have AOC up against the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis. So AOC is definitely the leader of the progressive movement at this point. She has a lot of support online. She's definitely more on the left-wing spectrum of the party, so that could hurt her with independence. However, DeSantis is on the more right-wing spectrum of the Republican Party. He's to the right of Donald Trump, especially in abortion. Previously, he wanted to go after Social Security and Medicare, but he reversed on that position. But still, he's very right-wing, so that definitely would maybe counteract each other. So even though AOC is more left-wing, they would look at DeSantis and say, wow, he is very right-wing. So this is a pretty interesting scenario, so let's get right into it. Starting off, Florida and Texas, progressives don't do well in these two states. They don't do well in the southern states. So DeSantis will win Florida. He has a good approval rating from there. And he would win Texas. He has a good chance of winning there by over 10 as well. In Colorado, this is going to be a safe blue state. New Mexico, AOC will do well with Latino voters. She's done well with them in her congressional district. So I think she's going to do well in New Mexico. Going over to New Jersey, Virginia, I would put these both as likely blue states. I think she's going to do decent enough here. DeSantis being so right-wing, still get those reluctant moderate voters to go over to AOC instead. Going over to Maine, I would put this as likely blue, but I would put Maine second as safe red. I think her being more to the left will hurt her with rural voters, so she'll do a bit worse in Maine's second congressional district. Going over to Iowa and Ohio, Iowa is a very rural state, and it definitely leans a lot more conservative, so I have DeSantis winning by over 10 here. In Ohio, I don't think AOC would be able to get this margin down below 10 in Ohio, so I have this state going to DeSantis by 10 points. In Nebraska second, I would have this district narrowly going to AOC by about 4. Going over to Arizona and Nevada, since DeSantis is more right-wing, I think he would do a little bit worse in Arizona than Trump did in 2024, so I have him only winning it by 4. AOC in Nevada, I actually think she would do well here. I think she would do well with Latino voters, reverse some of those losses that Harris sustained here. So I'd have her actually winning the state of Nevada by 1.5 points, so 1.5. Going over to New Hampshire, I think AOC would win this state by about 4. I don't think DeSantis would have a really good shot in this socially liberal state. The independents definitely lean towards the left, so I see those voters going to AOC. Going down to Georgia and North Carolina, I don't think AOC would have really good shots here. These are states that don't typically vote for progressives. So unless you pick a VP from Georgia, like Raphael Warnock or John Ossoff, I don't think Georgia is really in the cards for her. So neither is North Carolina, by the way. So I have these two states going to DeSantis by about 2 points each. Then we go up to the Rust Belt states, the state of Minnesota. I think AOC, she would have good odds in Minnesota, but then again, a lot of rural areas kind of trended away from Democrats here, so I wouldn't put Minnesota as likely blue. I'd put it as lean blue. I think she would only win by 4, similar to the margin Harris won by. And this is the real part where populist voters come into play, because DeSantis, he is not a populist candidate at all. He doesn't really have that much charisma either, so I think AOC would definitely have a leg up against him. Plus, he's just pretty extreme with his positions, but so is AOC. AOC is anti-fracking, so that could hurt her in Pennsylvania. So going over to Michigan, I think AOC would win this state. She would win back those Arab voters that kind of protested and not voting for Harris, and I definitely think that hurt Harris' chances of winning Michigan in 2024, so I think AOC would win back Michigan. I also think AOC would win Wisconsin narrowly. This was a very close state in 2024, but I think with her being more economically populist, especially on the issues, I think AOC have a pretty good chance at winning in Wisconsin. However, Pennsylvania, she is anti-fracking. That could definitely hurt her, but DeSantis, he's very anti-abortion. He signed a 6-week abortion ban into law in Florida. So even though AOC is anti-fracking, we saw pro-choice voters come out in mass support for Democrats in Pennsylvania in 2022. So again, those two positions, like anti-fracking for AOC, anti-abortion for DeSantis, I think the AOC would have a bit of a leg up in Pennsylvania against DeSantis in this very close matchup. So I have her narrowly winning Pennsylvania against Ron DeSantis. So this is a very close race. It literally comes down to Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. DeSantis really only needs to win one of these states. But these states typically vote together, so it's rare for them to not vote with each other. But this is how I think the election would go if AOC and DeSantis were their party's respective nominees. So other than that, if you're new to this channel and you enjoyed this video, you should definitely consider subscribing. And thanks so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments below which states you would change in this prediction. Okay, other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video.